Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today's video is a day in my life. We're going out thrifting and just some other errands. And so I'm just cuddling with Marley. We had to leave really early in the morning, so just having little cuddles with her. I tried to show the time. I think we left around 7 in the morning because we had an hour drive, so I took my second coffee in the car. So the first stop we made was to Walmart. We do have a Walmart where we live, but it's really small. In fact, I always see like kind of meme-y things online where people are like, remember when Walmart looked like this? Well, that's how our Walmart looks current day. So I was looking for a few things specifically in Walmart, but I was just kind of browsing around. I noticed that they have these Subway sauces, which is interesting. Our Walmart doesn't really sell groceries either because it's really small. So this is the closest Walmart to us that actually sells groceries as well. So the main thing I was in here looking for was some gluten-free pasta. So this brand is really popular here, and it's actually my favorite. So I used to be able to buy this in the grocery store for $2 not that long ago, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I see that it's over $3 here, but that is still cheaper because in the grocery store now it's like $4.29, I think. So if I have to, I'll buy this one. But Walmart actually makes a version of this pasta that is less than $2. So I try to stock up on it when I can, but obviously they don't sell it at the Walmart that's close to me. And lately I've been having a hard time finding it, so I'm scared that they're discontinuing it. So I've been trying to, every time we're near a Walmart, I've been trying to stock up. So I was disappointed it wasn't there in the pasta aisle. So I was just kind of browsing these plant-based sauces, like salad dressings that are, I think, relatively new. Are really good. I haven't had the Caesar, but I've had the ranch and the Thousand Island, and they're not too bad for pricing. So then we also, John had heard that the plant-based craft dinner, well, they call it craft dinner. I guess they just call it KD now in Canada, but I think in the US it's just called Kraft macaroni and cheese, but it's always been called craft dinner here in Canada, but it's the same thing. So they did in fact have it, so we wanted to try it. So they actually had 2 different kinds, so we grabbed a box of each. We have actually tried it since then, and it is really good. So then I thought, well, why don't we see if they have a gluten-free section? Maybe they would have the pasta in there. So we went looking for that, and we did find the pasta, thankfully. So I was able to stock up on some, but I think they didn't have macaroni, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So I don't know, it's like my favorite pasta, and it's actually reasonably priced. So I'm trying to like stock up as much as I can because pasta is good for, years. I think the ones that I bought were expired in 2027. So then we also went to the cereal aisle because I've only just learned this, but cereal in Walmart, you can get 3 boxes for $10. And cereal in our grocery store, I think, is like $6.99 on average for a box, which is pretty intense for a box of cereal, in my opinion. So obviously it's way cheaper. So I was looking at this like cinnamon roll cereal. I didn't grow up eating like bad cereal or cereal with sugar in it, so we've been eating it occasionally, but I came to get more of this cereal. We tried this one a few weeks ago, but it's a limited edition, so I was very excited to get more of that. We actually got the last 2 boxes. So then we were off to our first thrift store. I don't think I've shown this before, but right next to the thrift store, there's this really cute ice cream shop. I love the colors. So this is not my favorite thrift store, but since we're in the area, we try to go to all of them. So we went to this one. The one good thing about it is they do put clothing with new with tags on a rack together, so it's pretty easy to see. But I usually just go to the upstairs part to look at that kind of stuff. But before I went up, I went and checked the board game section because you never know when you're going to find a board game. That's worth a bunch of money. Definitely found a few over the years that one in particular, it was only $1 and I think it sold for 75 relatively quickly too, which was pretty cool. It was one of those book ones, but it was like an older one from the 60s, I think. Board games is actually on my list of things to study. Like every month we're trying to learn about something new as resellers, so we have like more information. So mine for May is board games, especially since it is yard sale season coming up. You tend to see them a lot. I usually give the DVD and VHS section a little skim over. I feel like it's pretty much always the same stuff when I come in, but you never know. So the upstairs, I think I've shown this quite a few times, but there's a lot of different rooms up here, which is kind of cool, but I still don't think it's the most organized. I have an incredible urge to organize their shelves every time I'm in here, but I like coming into the book room to see if there's any vintage cookbooks. I've definitely found quite a few of vintage cookbooks over the time I've been coming here. They had some vintage Better Homes and Gardens not cookbooks, but craft books, but none of them really interested me. I think I might have all of the ones that I've wanted already. I don't look through the kids' books that often, but I did on this day, and I'm so happy because I found these two books from the 80s and they just caught my eye. I tried to see if they had any more, but I couldn't find them. But then I realized that they're actually in French. There's like a French community that's close to the store, so I guess that makes sense. But I'm actually trying to relearn French, and once I get to like a more advanced stage than I'm at right now, I've been wanting to, like, I thought, oh, I could start reading like kids books and then go to like teen books. So I don't know, I just thought that was cool. So I did get both of those. So that inspired me to look through the like, I guess more young adult teen books. I don't know, older kid books. I guess the ones I was looking at before were for really little kids, but I've seen actually quite a few older books here. I love old books, but I just feel like I already have so many that I shouldn't buy anymore. But my plan actually, when I get more advanced, is to get the Nancy Drew books in French and read those, because I used to read Nancy Drew when I was a kid, so it's like familiar. So I thought that would be cool, and I saw that you can get them in French, so I thought that would be something good, but it'll probably be quite a while before I'm able to do that. This other small room usually just has a lot of crafty type stuff in it, although there's a random mixer in there. It's so weird because normally there's like a section for appliances, but I don't know. But I did see a lot of stickers in here, and it reminded me of, I used to have a sticker collection like in the early 90s, and I haven't really thought about it for a long time, but it made me think about it. They were actually, I think they were called Sandy Lion, and they were around the size of this one, but it had like 3 or maybe 4 sheets in it that you could like tear apart and trade with people. And I don't know whatever happened to it. I was trying to think about what happened to it, but I don't remember. But I see them sometimes on eBay for like a considerable amount of money, considering they probably only cost like $1 a pack back then. And there was a huge doll collection there that was clearly from the same home. They all had markings on the bottom of like when they got them and like who it was from, which Oh, I don't know. Stuff like that like kind of gets me sometimes when I see it, because I don't know. It's weird. It's a good reminder. I guess it's weird to see something that meant so much to somebody at one point in time, but at the end of the day, it's just stuff, and it'll end up sitting in a thrift store probably, or a landfill. So I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of morbid, but I do like that they sell rugs in this store, because they can be quite pricey. So if you can, like, clean them with like a professional, like, we can rent like professional cleaners for carpets here. This round rug, we actually had this exact rug, maybe in a different color, but in the house that I'm living in now, like when I lived here when I was a kid. So that was interesting. I used to like run around the different colors like one at a time. It's like such a core memory for me. I don't know why. And then I noticed that they have, this might have been here last time, but I know they also have one in the Salvation Army, this Spice of Life themed food processor. I think they had like 20 or 25 on it, which I still think is way too much for it. But like part of me wants to get it for my kitchen because I have so much Spice of Life, but the other part of me is like, it's too much. I wouldn't want to use a food processor either, like a vintage one. I just feel like it would never be clean enough for me to feel comfortable using it. I think this might be like a paperweight or something, but it was I Love Lucy themed. Then I spotted something that I actually just love so much, and it's like, I guess you'd call them themed candles. They were really popular in the 70s and the 80s. I used to have a ton of them in my room, like when I was in high school. And I love these so much, and I was thinking really hard about whether or not I should get them, but I don't know. I've been not really wanting to get a lot of stuff, but this little like worm family, if I was going to get one, it was going to be that one, but I decided to leave it there, and I don't have regrets about it. And then I noticed this bowl. I'm going to assume this is probably a chip and dip set, but obviously it's just the big bowl. I think it was $7, which I guess that's not terrible, but I wouldn't, I probably wouldn't pay $7 for just the one bowl. And then I noticed a cookie press here. This looks to me like it's probably more of like a 90s version, but I used to have one. It's one of the more popular videos on my channel where I used it in a vintage recipe, but I think that one was from the 50s, but I ended up selling it a couple of years ago. And I noticed that their little TV, like security system thing is still there for sale. That's been there since before Christmas, because I remember filming at Christmas and it was there. So It's probably at least been 6 months. I feel like no one's probably going to buy that if they haven't bought it yet. I was thinking about getting this power bar until I saw they wanted $750 for it, and I just felt like that was too much money for a power bar in a thrift store. I don't think I've seen this cookie jar before, but it was like a thing of grapes. It did have a piece broken off though. I wish I would have looked and seen how much they wanted, but I probably didn't want to try to lift it up while I only had one hand free. But that would be cute if you had like a fruit themed kitchen, I think. And it wouldn't be a thrift video if we didn't find the geese. So we've got a little napkin holder there, and I guess maybe a sugar bowl. Someday we're hoping that we can get a cottage as like to use as like a summer home or something. And I think if that happens, I'm gonna decorate the kitchen with the geese, which is so funny because I do think they're kind of ugly, but I also feel like that would kind of fit the vibe, and it would also be kind of just a funny thing to do, especially because there's so much of it that I could really go like all out like people used to, where like every square inch of your kitchen is covered in like a specific theme where you just get everything in it, which is not like my style at all. I don't like it when it's too matchy, and that would be pretty extreme, but I also just feel like it would be a vibe. And if this even happens at all, but if this happens, this wouldn't be for years, but a part of me is like, should I start collecting now while I see all this stuff? So I don't know, maybe. And then I spotted another piece. I've actually seen that before, but not that specific piece, but I've seen that design. I think it would be fun to start collecting it now because I see it so much, and it's usually not very expensive. But we were talking about like this will be a long time from now if it even happens, but if I didn't end up needing it, I would have this big collection that would probably be like 15 years from now, so maybe I could just sell it if I didn't need it. But we're talking about maybe having the cottage be like 90s or 80s kind of vibes, since we have kind of more like 60s and 70s in our home now. So in like 10 or 15 years, things from the 90s will probably be selling for a lot more. So I don't know. Anyway. So this is an overhead view from the top of the stairs of the store. This day we had listened to Jagged Little Pill, and we realized that it is almost like in June will be 29 years since that album came out, which makes me feel so old. But we've also been listening to these Big Shiny Tunes albums from the 90s, which were released by like the like the Canada's version of MTV was called Much Music, so my fellow Canadians might remember that. And then I think they had a second channel too that was called Much More Music. But those Big Shiny Tune CDs, specifically 1, 2, and possibly 3, were so good. Listened to them so much in the 90s. So then we were on to our like favorite thrift store for clothing, this like chain that is in our province. So I got to looking, but this bag caught my eye for like summertime. And so I went over to look at it, and I did end up getting this. I thought this would be really great for summer, and it's kind of big. So one of the purses I have, like, that was also thrifted is basically falling apart. It's like disintegrating. I was like, I need to toss this. So this would be a nice big bag tease for summer. And then since I was right next to the dresses, I figured I should go ahead and start looking there because there was nobody in that area. And I've been having a lot of luck finding good dresses that have been selling kind of quick. So I don't normally look at the dresses, but lately, the past like couple of months, I'm like, well, I should probably start trying to check out the dresses. I actually really love this dress. It's in a brand that we do sell, and I thought it looked really nice, but it was in a medium. So typically that brand sells like more in the large, extra large for us. So I actually brought it over and talked to John about it. I'm like, I don't know, it looks so nice, but I can't remember if we actually got it or not. But so then we went to Salvation Army, which I filmed. That was my last video. If you missed that one, I just put it in a separate video. But then we went to this other thrift store that's also like not part of the chain, but it has the same name. It's weird. It's like it was one chain and then it split into 2 different ones. So it's called the same thing, like Frenchies, but it's like 2 different things. But there's a bunch of different stores. This is like the store that has a bunch of new stuff in it too, so it's just a weird mix. But sometimes you find cool stuff in here, so we like to come in and look real quick. I've been eyeing these little tiny notebooks for months now, probably before Christmas, and I never end up buying them. And then every time I'm like, why didn't I get those notebooks? So I was like, the next time we go to that store, I'm getting the notebooks. So I did end up getting a pack of them. It's just 3 small ones. I think they'll be perfect for gratitude journal. So I did end up getting those. They do also sell candles in here as well, which I love. I've got them quite a bit, and I noticed that they had autumn candle out, just like they just leave them out. And I am so excited for fall. I know it's not summer yet, but summer is my least favorite season, so I'm not like really excited about it. Like I don't hate it, but it's definitely not my favorite. Definitely my least favorite. And every time, by the time like May, June comes around, I just start getting so excited for fall. So I'm very, very excited for fall. I can hardly contain it actually. But I know a lot of people love summer and it's their favorite season. So I don't want to like wish summer away, but at the same time, I cannot wait for fall to get here. I feel like this is so true. Oh, I love cats so much. This was a fun day though, but I have to say, the thrift stores, I can't believe, like, I love this so much. Any of my like 90s people play Oregon Trail in the 90s. They want way too much for it though. Otherwise I would get it just because it's such a cool piece to have, the fact that it's cross-stitched, but that's way too much. It's been sitting there for months too, so I keep hoping they'll put the price down. But the thrift stores lately, so we went thrifting like for a whole week, almost every day. So I have a bunch more videos to post from that, but I was just so disappointed. I don't know, like the thrift stores have been emptier than like I ever remember them being. And I've been thrifting since the early 90s, so over 30 years. And I never remember them being, I have like a Value Village thrift with me coming. and I've never seen the Value Village shelves be that empty before. It's just crazy. But I don't know, between like the prices and just the lack of inventory, I think I'm starting to lose my love for thrifting a little. We actually ended up not going out as much as we planned on because of that. Like I just said to John, I feel like we're almost wasting our time because we have to drive an hour, hour and a half to even get to the thrift stores. So like that's 3 hours just traveling in a day. So I was like, I feel like I just would rather stay home than even bother going out, which I would never say that in the past. So it's kind of sad, but I am excited that it's yard sale season. I do love looking at the cookbook section in the store, so I always make sure to look there just in case they have a vintage cookbook that I don't have, that I want, I guess. They have lots of cookbooks, but not ones that I want. But I did end up, they have a bin on the floor filled with all these smaller ones, so I ended up picking it up and setting it on the counter so that I could look through it without having to like hunch down on the ground and look through it. So I looked through everything. They had a whole bunch of Betty Crocker ones in there. So I ended up getting a few of those. But I thought this was so funny. It's like a computer. Like imagine like looking at your recipes online. It's just so primitive, but honestly, not even that long ago, it was such a novelty thing. So I did end up getting a few there. I pulled out a bunch of them and then I tried to decide like, okay, I don't need all of these, but I think I ended up getting 3 in total, but I think I had 5 or 6 out. I had this fruit and vegetable one because I was like, oh yeah, that'll be great. And I'm like, wait, I'm a vegan. I've probably cooked fruit and vegetables every possible way known to man. So do I need this to tell me that? No, I'll pick something a little more interesting. So I think I got ones that were more like summery in nature because obviously summer's coming. I do want to try and film some more like vintage recipes soon. I actually had like a bunch filmed on my phone, but I ended up deleting them from like years ago, like probably from 22 and 23. Maybe I should have posted them anyway, but I don't know. I always feel like they don't turn out exactly how I want them to. So anyway, I usually do skim of the VHS as well. I feel like it's been the same for a really long time. I noticed the long trailer has been there for months and months. Oh, it's such a good movie. I highly recommend that movie I've mentioned before, but it's Lucy and Desi in that movie. It's super cute. If you like I Love Lucy, you'll probably love that movie. I think they filmed it in between like season 2 and 3 of I Love Lucy maybe, but it's just such a cute movie. It's one of my comfort movies. I love these little games they have. They're shaped like a cell phone. They don't have the one that I really liked, and I kind of wish I would have got it, but it's where you try to get the little hoops onto the like pegs. And the one that I like was different than the one that they have here now, but I think I stood in the store and played it for like 10 minutes straight. I was like, I should have got that. It's better than like having your phone in your hand or something if you're, I don't know, have some time to kill. I loved this balloon dog Slinky. I kind of wish I would have got it. I think it would make cute decor. So this is the bin that has, used things in it, like hard goods, but I don't know, I just feel like it's just a lot of the same stuff I've been seeing for months and months, and it's just kind of junky, like not anything special. I don't know. I feel like I'm hating on thrift stores lately, but at the same time, I'm just like, this is not what it used to be at all. It's not even close. So we had been out for hours at this point, so we stopped for something to eat. So I just made us something to eat that we brought with us, just a sandwich, and then we have like yogurt and some Oreos. Oreos are vegan in Canada. Just need to make that clear. And then we also got these chips while we were in Walmart. They're so good. Oddly, a lot of meat flavored chips are actually vegan, so those are so good though. So we had some of those, and then we got back to thrifting. So we're kind of like driving towards home now and stopping at thrift stores. And I noticed these pens in the other store. They had a flamingo one, but I noticed this one had a little cat paw. I was like, I need that. I didn't get it though. And then I saw the pens that have a bunch of different multicolors, and these remind me so much of elementary school, where you like push down the different colors. I always look at the VHS tapes on here, but I feel like it's been the same forever. Like, I think I got any of the ones that I wanted. I think I already had the Dean Martin like variety show. I have a bunch of his like Dean Martin like roasts, like the celebrity roasts he used to host. They're so good. This store it's weird. They have a lot of VHS, but they have so many multiple copies of the same movies. It's very weird. A lot of like 90s movies too. So part of me wonders if like they maybe had like a video store in this area that all these tapes ended up getting donated, because I guess it would make sense that like a movie store would have multiple copies of popular movies. But I don't know, I feel like they have probably 10 copies of My Best Friend's Wedding, and it's just I've never seen a thrift store have that many multiple copies of different movies. But and I saw this Paula Abdul VHS, which I feel like she's really well known now for American Idol, but like back in the 80s she was actually a singer, so that's like what I remember her from. And I love that the store calls them VCR tapes, not VHS tapes. So after all that, I decided I should probably start looking at the clothing, since that's like the main reason why we were there. So I feel like I did actually find something really good on this day. I found this really like nice jacket that was vintage, I think. But I don't think I typically don't film myself when I'm looking through the clothing, because I do it super fast and need both hands for it. But these are a couple of bins that have used things in them, but I mean, there's basically like nothing but junk in both of them. Every time I see the nail polish they have, I think it's so pretty and vibrant, but it's probably not vegan, and I don't know how I would even find out if it was or not, because it's like some weird off-brand. I think it's just like cheap dollar store, but I do think a lot of the colors are pretty. So there's 2 of these stores on our way home. So we went to the second one, and they had the same, like they have new merchandise, the same as the first store that I showed. So they had that same cat plaque, I guess, some Skittles lip gloss. And pretty much the same thing here, like the bins with used stuff there's barely anything in them at all. And I saw this, I think this is like vintage Tupperware, but I kind of forget what this is actually for. I think it might be a scraper, but then there's other parts of it I don't really understand. So I feel like we definitely had one in our like utensil drawer though. But yeah, it's weird. It's like either people just aren't donating to thrift stores or like people are buying things, but it's weird because it's simultaneously people are complaining about how high the prices are. So I don't know. I saw these Peanuts plaques. I'll be honest, if this would have been like Snoopy or Woodstock, I probably would have got them, but they just had Linus and Lucy. But I love Woodstock. It's like so 70s. Sometimes we do see some vintage toys, so it's always worth taking a look, but they didn't even really have that many toys in here. So then I got started looking at clothing, which is why we were here, or the main reason why we were here. So I feel like I did find a couple of pieces in here, but I did look through all the jackets, but unfortunately I did find a couple, but they ended up having flaws. So but it's super pretty drive here. I feel so grateful that I live where I live because it's just so beautiful. But then we went to one of our like main ones. And then this is the view from the parking lot of like the thrift store that's closest to us. And it's just so beautiful. So again, just so grateful. So then we finally made it home after a long day of thrifting. I always feel bad when we have to leave Marley, even though she probably slept for most of the day. So I like to give her a lot of attention. It's like just before dinner. So we were just having a quick and easy dinner. I was putting these veggie chicken nuggets and fries into the air fryer, which seriously, so obsessed with the air fryer still. Like one of the best purchases of my life, I think. But I made sure to give Marley her dinner while ours was cooking. So ours was ready, and then we were just watching some Ally McBeal and just kind of resting. We did end up getting a ton of clothing. We found so many good things on this day, so that was a really good feeling because we were trying to go out and get like a whole bunch of stuff. So we'd list new clothing every day. So in the Salvation Army, you'll see that I got that pillowcase, but these are the books that I ended up getting, little like recipe booklets. I think most of them are from the 80s and 90s. So I got a couple of like grill ones since summertime, and then I got this Mexican one because I love Mexican food so much. And then I did end up getting those two books. I was hoping that they would have some more. Maybe I'll look online. And then of course I got my small little notebook journals. And then from the same store, I got this little screwdriver with like a bunch of different bits. And John, we have this one that's really great, but most of the bits are really stripped. So John said they're usually universal, so I could probably use the same bits in that screwdriver. And then the books, one was lined, one was blank, and one was like graph paper inside. So I'm just going to use them all for gratitude journals. And then I found these pants, which I love and I'm obsessed with, but the size was different than the size they had on the tag. So I don't know. They look really tiny. I do love them though. And then I did find this Christmas sweater by Mickey. And then I found this other t-shirt that's Christmas Mickey. It's really big though, so I think I might just use it to sleep in. But I just thought it was cute and almost kind of looks vintagey in a way. And then lastly, I just got this purse that I showed at the very beginning of the video. So I haven't used it yet, but anyway, that is it for this day out thrifting. I do have quite a few more from this week that I already filmed, so probably be posting those for a little bit, and I'll probably also post the second part of my kitchen declutter at some point, maybe next week. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon.